The rain was falling softly outside the small city cafe, tapping lightly against the fogged windows as people hurried past with umbrellas and tired faces, too busy to notice anything around them. Inside, the cafe felt warm and smelled of fresh coffee and baked bread, and that was the only place where Maya felt she could catch her breath for a moment. She was a single mother of a 7-year-old boy named Ayan, whose small hand she held tightly as they walked through the door. Her eyes were tired, her coat was old, and her purse carried nothing but a few coins and a cheap toy car that Ayan always kept with him no matter where they went. She had worked all morning at a cleaning job that barely paid enough to cover rent, and she was hoping she could afford something small for her son. Today, anything to keep his smile alive. They stepped inside, shook off the rain, and looked around for a table. The place was nearly full, but in the far corner sat a man in a dark suit, staring silently out the window with a basket of hot fries on his table. He looked like he belonged in a magazine, clean, sharp, calm, the kind of person who never had to worry about rent or food or bus fares. Maya didn't notice him at first. She was too busy counting her coins and pretending not to feel the pressure in her chest. When she realized she didn't have enough to buy food for both herself and Ayan, she had only enough for one small tea, and she decided she would let Ayan drink it while she pretended she wasn't hungry. But Ayan saw the fries on the man's table, steaming and golden, and he tugged gently at his mother's arm. "Mama," he whispered, "I'm hungry." She smiled softly and rested her hand on his head, trying not to let him see her worry. "I know, baby. I'll get something soon." She tried to distract him by giving him his toy car, but he kept glancing back at the fries. Finally, Maya swallowed her pride and approached the counter. But when she saw the price of even the smallest snack, her heart dropped. She turned back toward her son, wondering if she could distract him long enough to leave the cafe without making him feel bad. And that was when she noticed the man looking at them, not in a rude way, but with a kind of quiet curiosity. He had seen the whole scene unfold. His name was Arman Raza, though no one in that cafe recognized him as the billionaire, tech investor who owned half the companies in the district. He kept his identity quiet, preferring to move through the world without attention. To everyone else, he was just a sharply dressed man who kept to himself. But he watched Maya approach the table, with the look of someone carrying burdens much heavier than her small purse. She took a deep breath, tightened her grip on her son's hand, and slowly stepped toward the man. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke. "Excuse me, sir," she said gently. "I'm so sorry to bother you. But can we share your fries? Just a few pieces. My son is hungry." The cafe grew strangely quiet. Around them, a few people glanced over, some with curiosity, others with judgment. But Maya didn't notice. Her cheeks turned warm with embarrassment, but she kept her eyes down, hoping he wouldn't think she was a beggar. Ayan hid behind her, shy but hopeful. For a moment the man said nothing, and Maya felt her heart sink. She regretted asking, regretted walking into the cafe, regretted everything that brought her to this moment. But then Arman pushed the basket toward them with a gentle smile before she could say anything else, and his voice was warm and calm. "They're not just yours to share," he said. "They're yours to have. Please sit." Maya blinked in surprise, unsure whether she heard correctly. She shook her head quickly. No, sir. We can't take all of it." But he insisted, sliding the fries closer to Ayan, who looked up with wide, grateful eyes. "It's okay," he said softly. "I ordered more than I can finish." He didn't mention that he had ordered them only to distract himself from a long and stressful day and had barely touched them. He simply watched as Ayan eagerly reached for a fry and bit into it with pure joy. Maya slowly sat down, her hands shaking slightly. She thanked him again and again, but he waved it off like it was nothing. Then he asked, "Rough day?" That was all it took. Something inside Maya's heart cracked open, and words flowed out, not as complaints, but simply as truths she had carried for too long. She told him she worked 2 jobs, that she was trying to raise her son alone, that she had dreams once, but life had pushed them aside. She didn't mean to say so much, but his calm presence made it easy. Arman listened quietly, and for the first time in weeks, Maya felt seen. When she finished speaking, she apologized again for bothering him, embarrassed by her own openness. But Arman shook his head. "You're not bothering me," he said. Sometimes people just need someone to listen. They talked for nearly half an hour while Ayan happily ate the fries and played with his toy car on the table. Maya had no idea she was talking to a billionaire. She simply saw a kind stranger who treated her with dignity. Before he left, Arman quietly paid for their meal. A full one, not just fries, and told the waiter not to mention it. Then he walked out into the rain, leaving Maya staring after him, wondering who he really was. She didn't know that this small meeting would change her life forever. Next morning, the sky was clear, and the city looked softer than usual as Maya walked with Ayan toward the same cafe, not because she could afford anything, but simply because her son hoped to see the kind man from yesterday again. She didn't expect him to be there, but she didn't want to erase the little hope her child carried. When she stepped inside, she ordered the cheapest tea and sat quietly, trying not to think about the strange feeling that had stayed with her since yesterday. She didn't know that at that exact moment Arman, the billionaire she had unknowingly shared fries with, was standing outside the cafe thinking about her courage, her kindness, and the quiet sadness in her eyes. He walked inside, and when Maya saw him, she froze, surprised but strangely relieved. He joined her table, ordered breakfast for all three of them, and talked to her with a warmth she hadn't felt in years. Slowly, she opened up about her dreams, how she once wanted to open a small bakery, how life had pushed her away from everything she loved, and how she only wanted a better life for her son. Arman listened deeply, and when he finally revealed his identity as one of the most powerful businessmen in the city, Maya couldn't speak for a moment. But he told her gently that he preferred the way she spoke to him when she didn't know who he was. Over the next days, he visited again, bringing toys for Ayan and encouragement for her. And for the first time in a long time, Maya felt that maybe life was giving her another chance. Then one afternoon, while sitting on a park bench watching Ayan play, Arman turned to her and said softly that he believed in her dream and wanted to help her build the bakery she once wished for. She tried to refuse, thinking it was too big of a gift, but he told her it wasn't charity. It was investment in a person who deserved it. Tears filled her eyes because no one had ever believed in her like that. And that single moment became the start of a change that would soon rewrite her whole life.